Chad in California, you're up.
Actually, coming from my mobile office here in the West Indies, in the island called St. Kitts.
Wow,
No, I'm joking. It's just the background. Coach, great to see you again. I know it's been a year. However, I feel like I'm very connected reading your daily emails, which has been mind-blowing, very insightful, very learning. If anyone hasn't subscribed to his daily emails, I highly encourage. A lot of nuggets in there. With that said, and I think this correlates to the topic of conversation today, and we'll piggyback on Derek Jeter, the captain. In one of your recent emails 2 weeks ago, you had talked about how you stepped into the organization and like everyone's talking about Jeter being the captain, and I'm just not seeing it. If you can shed light on it, you don't have to get too into the weeds, but and you talk about leaders and captains and how do they resonate with their folks. Can you shed light of how you learned how Derek Jeter led that maybe you probably teach today and coach today the leaders to lead like Jeter did?
So interesting enough, that post that I wrote a blog on it. I do a daily newsletter, but I posted it on a LinkedIn. It's at like, I think I want to say like 45,000 views, which for me is one of my best ever. And I think about, well, why was that? Right? We were talking about somebody that's iconic. I also said I wasn't impressed with his leadership when I first got there because I didn't understand it. But the more I was around that guy, and the more I'm around a lot of people that are really good at what they do, you don't understand it right away because there's not a lot of smoke and mirrors with these sort of folks. But the longer you're around them, there's a feeling that they give you. And the feeling is actually based on two words I like to use: safety and security. When you're around these people, and I think this is a great attribute of great leaders, they make you feel safe and they make you feel secure. And when you feel safe and you feel secure, it goes back to Maslow's hierarchy, right? These are human needs that need to be taken care of. So for many people, if you were to interview a large sample of people and ask them, hey, do you feel safe and do you feel secure? A lot of people would tell you no. So where these great leaders have an advantage is they come in and they make you feel that way. And then by them making you feel that way, there's an attachment, there's a loyalty, there's a bond that emerges from that feeling. So that's how great leaders, they have what I call magnetism. They just continue to attract people to them. And that's what a guy like Derek Jeter always presented in his way of being, not his way of talking, right? He wasn't a talker. He was more of a connector. So, and most people think leadership is the guy on the hill shouting, but it's not always that. I mean, there's some people, again, that's a style for some, and that's okay. But for others, that's not their style, and that's okay too.
That's just so cool. Last comment here. I was fortunate to be a part of a conversation with the former president of all of UPS, Jerry Matz, who actually, Scott, reminds me, I'd love to get onto a TCC. And one of his things is like, hey, I didn't shout from the top. I went to the bottom and I would leave little notes to all the employees in the warehouse to build their, give them inspiration and feel motivated so that they can drive, make their deliveries a little bit faster, increase their times. And he's like, I worked all the way from the bottom to the top, not from the top to the bottom. So awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Chad, if you think about it, or anybody here, think about that boss or that leader that came next to you and just kind of gave you a little pat when you're a young guy or gal, and that person like made you feel just in that, like, hey, I know you exist. It's like, wow, unbelievable. I have a client and he flipped his business twice for a couple $100 million. And he said his favorite thing to do was walk the warehouse floor. And he used to bust those guys' chops. He used to buy lunch for them on Fridays, and he'd be down, having a pizza party with the guys that are packing boxes and having a blast, and a genuine blast. Not, I do this because it's what I'm supposed to do. I read this in Jack Welch's book and they did it because he wanted to. And that is the type of stuff that I'm talking about that goes a long way. That's getting in the trench, and that's powerful leadership.
And also,
Mike?
Jerry, I'll reach out to him and I'll see if he's open for an introduction. I think it'd be a great introduction to you as well.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely would love it.